First of all, before we start, I think I'd really be remiss if we didn't start off and say that our thoughts and prayers are with Randy Moore and his family from inside Tennessee. And gosh, just spoke with him a few days ago. And again, it's another illustration of just how fragile life is. So we're thinking about his family, uh, definitely thinking about him as well. So I wanted to make sure that started today off with that. Never take life for granted. 1 second rule. In 1 second, your life can change. And I know he's covered Tennessee football for a very long period of time. So definitely thinking about him. In terms of today, very productive day. Getting in Neyland Stadium, getting in the sun, getting some heat. A lot of situational football, a lot of game management in terms of sub packages, game situations. What we wanted to see is improvement. Obviously, you want to see improvement day in and day out, but really from the first scrimmage to the second scrimmage, it's been a very short camp, one of the shortest camps we've ever been a part of. So, I thought our players have really handled the transition well from going to training camp into an in-season schedule, in-school schedule. I think they've done a very good job. We had a very good practice yesterday. We're still in that kind of that training camp mode right now. But I like the way our approach of our football team came out today. We ran about 75, 80 plays, different scrimmage situations, but also individual, a lot of special teams work as well. So very productive day. Still a few individuals out from practice today. Todd Kelly Jr. Was held from practice with illness. Josh Smith and Jack Jones both have muscle strains, so we were able to help hold them out. 3 individuals, LaTroy Lewis, Marquez North, and Justin Martin, should be ready to go, full go by Monday. So we're looking forward to their return from practice on Monday. Very unfortunate. Rashawn Golden fractured his foot. He will be out for the entire season. Very unfortunate. Feel for that young man. Love him to death. Love his family. And very unfortunate. But just like Marcus Jackson and Austin Sanders, they'll do a great job in recovery. With that, Cam Sutton is requested to wear number 7 for the season, so he'll do that, just like Jay Sean wearing 75 for Marcus. But again, I thought a very productive day. Now we need to go back and lift and get in the meetings and really close the day out. So I'll answer any questions you may have. Right. It's still, trying to find out, again, in the sub packages who they're going to be, who our best pass rushers are to get them all in the field at one time. But we've repped a number of individuals at nickel, so that'll be an ongoing process. Rashawn meant so much to us, not just from a DB standpoint, but from special teams as well. That's really, last year as a true freshman, that's where he made his impact. So not only now on defense do we have to replace him, but we have to replace the productivity on special teams as well.
How important is it to be getting Justin back? How much is he sort of working with that company?
It's big. It's big to get Justin back. He was starting to do some really good things before he went down. So to get him back to add to the overall depth at corner and be able to move some individuals around, that's really going to help us in moving forward.
When did Cam approach you about switching uniforms, switching his number?
Right when he found out the extent of the injury, he called me. It was probably about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and said, "Hey, I want to represent Rashawn." And again, we talk about being 9 strong and power of the position, and these kids have done a good job with that. They take pride in their performance every time they step on the football field, and they support one another.
And for both of that will be their uniform number now?
Yes. Yep.
Whatever. Is it just happenstance? Is it anything? Is turf okay?
Right. We research everything. We research from the turf to the time of year. I have a 5-year study on injuries, and I can tell you this: the last 3 years were about the same. where we're at in terms of individuals being held, individuals kind of being, status pending going into practice. So we research everything, and there's so much that goes into it. So we're still in the process of researching it. But again, Rashawn's was really a cutting drill. It was a cutting drill and got tripped up, and it was in a punt return drill. And it's very, very unfortunate. But we, part of our sports science is always researching, trying to find the reasons why. So that's kind of work in progress right now.
When it's this far into camp, or you're starting this season, how nerve-wracking is it for you as a head coach when you lost 3 guys, and I guess you just want to get into game prep?
It's a fine line. It's like going in today. We needed the live game repetitions. We needed to work ourselves in the football condition mode. Have a 10-play drive, have a 12-play drive on both sides of the football. So it's a give and take. Part of it is your practice etiquette of your players understanding how important practice etiquette is. And our players, the last week and a half, have really done an outstanding job with that. But it's a balancing act, how much tackling, all those situations go into it. And, a lot of the injuries, have kind of been, obscure things that have happened. It's just like Rashawn, his last play of punt return, and it's unfortunate, but it's also part of the game. It's across the country. You don't like it. You hate to see your players suffer. You feel for their families. So that's why we'll do everything to accommodate everything that they need.
Butch, you guys have had to rotate a lot of guys in up front. Just how valuable has Kyler Herberson been there at left tackle for you?
I can't say enough about Kyler and how far he's come in the development in our football program. And Kyler and I talk about it all the time. And it's, again, in a world of instant want, in a world of instant gratification, he's paid his dues. He spoke about, never playing for a few years. He talked about being a backup, but also to his a tribute to him, when he gained his opportunity, he stepped up and he took the most of it. Kyler's one of those individuals that's never down, brings a lot of energy, a great student of the game, and he's molding and mentoring our younger players in the offensive line room. I can't say enough about him, just like last year, Jacob Gilliam. If players will just buy into development and not rushing things, usually very, very good things happen. You look at all the great stories across the country. Tom Brady's a great example. Dan Lefevre and I talk about it all the time. For 2 years, he wanted to transfer at Central Michigan. I was at another school, and he was calling me, and I said, you need to stay there, and pay your dues. And that's usually what happens if you stay the course. That's where the development of a program comes into play.
And just how big has it been that he's been able to concentrate on left tackle and you're not having to put him in right guard, right tackle, different places?
Well, I think he'd be the first to tell you he's benefited from that. He gained the valuable live game repetitions last year, but now being at left tackle, he's really worked on owning his technique. He's worked on owning his conditioning and really understanding body language and different stances and schemes of the defense and defensive fronts and blitz patterns. And he's not even the same player. He's really dedicated himself to really transforming his game. And I'm appreciative for everything that he's doing.
I know we're just a few weeks in and probably still learning some things about the receiver position, but has Juwan Jennings shown you enough already that he's definitely going to be a guy that can help you?
I can answer that right away, yes. He's another young man that is playing with a high energy level, playing with a lot of confidence. He's got that look in his eye. He's not missed one rep. He's on just about every single special teams. And again, I don't know if people understand that the biggest thing from transition to quarterback to wide receiver is the volume of running. You're basically lacing your shoes up and you're going nonstop and really being in football condition. And I've never, not once, heard him complain about it. He's welcomed it. You can see his technique getting better. We all know he has a great vertical. He has a very good adjustment to the ball in the air. He has very good initial quickness, and he's been a great addition to that room. He's pushing everyone else, and I think that helps. As we all know, you can never have enough competition.
Butch, are you
Obviously, you had
Yeah.
hopes there, but are you surprised his transition has been as seamless or as easy as it's looked?
It's exceeded our expectations right away. Usually there's a learning curve, and usually what happens is in a learning curve of a transition of taking a person and moving them to another position, first of all, they come off and they do well because there's not a lot of thinking. You're very limited in your install, so the recall is easy. Then all of a sudden, the more install you do, the more the mind slows down, the feet slow down because you're working at more techniques. You're working at your conditioning. You're working at a heavy volume of install. So all of a sudden the game becomes really fast and there's a lot of moving parts and pieces. That has not affected Jawan. And I think him being here in the spring, playing quarterback, understanding the offense, he's been able to make that adjustment of moving to receiver. But yes, the transition that he's made, and a lot of it is in your attitude, in your daily approach. And as we all know, he's exceptionally competitive, and he's applied that in the learning curve as well.
Which from the adversity you faced last season on the field, to the situation in the spring, what have you learned about Coleman Thomas and maybe his resiliency?
Resiliency. You just said it. Resiliency. He's a very loyal young man. And so he's very, very competitive. He internalizes everything because he wants to be great. And that's what you want. But I think he's shown very good resiliency, loyalty to our program, and a workman-like mentality to get better each and every day.
I think he's better equipped to play tackle now than he was a year ago.
I do, just because of experience, confidence. Every rep he gains is invaluable. Again, when you ask true freshmen to play in this conference, it's why it doesn't happen very often. And we've had too many have to be put in those situations, and sometimes it's a great opportunity, but sometimes it's unfair as well. But that's where you're at in the state of your program. And these are 17, 18-year-old young individuals going up against 22, 23-year-olds in our conference that have been in a full-time strength and conditioning program for a number of years. So I do think he's benefited and aided from playing as a true freshman. Now this is where you get rewarded for your resiliency and your diligence of playing as a true freshman.
What kind of camp has Dobbs had, just in terms of leadership and also performance in the spring?
I really think Josh has really taken the next step in leadership. You can see it. He's out there. He's in command. He has been a CEO this camp, and I've been very proud of him. He's been much, much more vocal than he's been in the past. He's holding individuals accountable. It starts with himself. But I see more interactive on the other side of the ball. I see him interacting more with the defensive players as well. So in terms of Josh Dobbs' leadership and stability that he provides, we've been very, very pleased with that. And he continues to grow into that. But he's doing a lot of things now naturally by habits, and he's helping lead the other quarterbacks as well. So I've been very pleased with that.
Last
What
one
other
on
options do you have, maybe at that nickel position? Is there anyone else you could, a safety or another corner who would slide in there to help that situation?
Well, we do have some options, which we just spoke about. Cam has played there. Malik Foreman has played there. Micah Abernathy has played there. A number of individuals have played there. Emmanuel Mosley, some reps there. So that's been an invaluable tool of the number of repetitions that individuals have gained there. And, like we talk about, sub defenses, the nickel position is as important of any position now that there is when you talk defensive football.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks for coming out.
We're going to bring the players up here for a few